What is up? What is up? What is up? Get this camera right here. This is Hypnotics coming to you live from YouTube. Find me on Anchor, Spotify, any of the streaming podcast channels. Today we're going to touch base some survival scenarios. That's what this channel is going to be about, is survival scenarios, making sure you and your family are safe, tips, tricks, hints, essentials, PDF files down in the comments or in the details here. And today, real briefly, we're going to touch on bug out bags to start. I think that's a good place to start this podcast, and we can kind of run through some lists here when it comes to bug out bags. There are 5 C's of survival. If you're brand new to the survival game and you don't know these, definitely something you guys want to take a look at. Number 1, cordage. Number 2, containers. Number 3, cover. Number 4, combustion, fire starters, that kind of stuff. Number 5, cutting. All right, so now that you got the 5 C's, cordage, combustion, container, cover, and cutting. Sorry about that. Brain fart. Let's go through this bug out bag list. If you guys don't have a bug out bag, I definitely suggest getting one. A 72-hour pack is usually what they call it, a go bag. Some sort of bag or container. You can even be a container, but you want to make sure it's easily accessible to you to grab and go. With that being said, I have a pretty cheap bag off Amazon. I can put the link down below if anybody's interested. Just comment below, or if you're listening to the podcast, just shoot me a message. Voice message will work. I can send you the link. It's a good bag. I've had it for about a year. Durable, waterproof, comfortable, has a chest strap. You always want to make sure you have that chest strap on a bag, give you some back support. But let's dive into it. We'll go to the most important thing, I guess you could say, a knife. You always want to make sure you have a knife in that bug out bag. If you don't have a knife, some sort of sharp utensil, sharp tool, something for protection, cutting. It's always very essential, especially when you're trying to get a fire started, cutting cordage, anything like that. Always, always, always carry a knife. If there's anything in your bag that you need to carry, it's a knife. Everything else will come to you. Cold weather gear. Depending on your area, I know I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland. It gets pretty cold here. Cold weather gloves, beanies, waterproof jacket for the wet weather, change of clothes. If you have boots, definitely pack some boots. I know it's kind of hard to fit that in a bag. Just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe stash them at your location. Food. You want rations, MREs, energy bars, ramen. Something to keep calories in your body, because as you're out there in them woods or out there in the field or on the water, or wherever your bug out location is, at home, if you're bugging in, you're going to go through food pretty quickly. And first 72 hours are essential. While food's not too crazy, definitely water. You want water purification. Water purification, water purification. You can't do anything without water. You will die very quickly. Another thing I recommend, water tablets, the life straws, water bottle, some sort of collection item that should fall underneath the container. You want to be able to store things. Water, food, it's one of your C's. You have cutting, now you have container. A fishing kit. You can get a little tiny Altoid box, put some fishing hooks in there, fishing line, paracord, whatever. You want something that's going to sink, so make sure you have some sort of weight to it. If not, went through filtration system, a blanket, definitely some sort of blanket, emergency blanket will do for the first 72 hours, but if you're going long term, you definitely want something wool, cotton, depending on your environment. Sleeping bag. If you don't have a blanket, a sleeping bag is essential. You can throw it right on your pack, right on the bottom of the top, strap it up and go. They make cold weather, they make warm weather, they make neutral. Just make sure you pick what you feel most comfortable with in your environment. Shelter. We can go over this really quick. Everyone, if you're bugging out, you should have some sort of shelter. It's pretty standard. You know, build something, find something, make something, bring something. One of my bags, I have a 5x7 tent for like a temporary shelter. And then I also have a tarp in there, 8x10 tarp for additional shelter if needed. After you're out there, you can make whatever you need to do. You can loot, survive. When you're in a bug out situation, anything goes. Air filtration. You want some sort of air filter mask. Depending on the scenario, I recommend getting a really nice gas mask. They usually run for $200 to $300 on average. You can get the more expensive ones, but some sort of gas mask, air filter mask, even if it's, you know, an old Israeli war mask like 1981, 1971 mask. You can even go older. There's, you know, the 40s and the 50s. You have the Israeli mask there. I believe it's the M52, M51 maybe. Don't remember the exact model. It's an old rubber mask with a screw-on filter. Make sure you have something. There's a nuclear reactor that goes bad. Power goes out, they will fail. EMPs, that sort of thing. You're not going to have air conditioning. You run into a house and someone's throwing smoke bombs or gas masks at you. You're going to go down very quickly. So make sure you have something to filter out all that to make it efficient for you. Whenever cold, obviously we're going to go over warm. I always put about a week's supply of hand warmers, and there's multiple people in my group that I pack for, but in my particular bag I put a week's supply, so 7 bags of hand warmers, matches or fire starter to make sure you stay warm if your fire supply does not work. Flashlights, that one's super important. Sure, your campfire is going to light up. Sure, depending on if you're bugging in or bugging out, there's sources of light, but nothing's as good as a flashlight. If you can find a solar light, great. Find a rechargeable battery light, even better. A headlamp with some double A's. As long as you're stacking and prepping correctly, you should have batteries or access to batteries at any point in time. That sort of thing. First aid kits. I recommend everyone carry an IFAK. It's an individual first aid kit. Definitely something that's necessary. Definitely needed. If you don't have an IFAK, find one. Build one. Make it suitable to your needs, because at the end of the day, your survival is what's necessary here. Sorry, I'm rambling all over the place. Kind of what I have in my bag: antibacterial wipes, disinfectant, painkiller, sunscreen, gloves, like a tiny med kit, like a sewing kit with some band-aids, a sling. I have some burn gel, some blood stop, blood clot, whatever you want to call it, Neosporin, antibiotic ointment, something like that, antiseptic wipes for cleaning out wounds, deep wounds, cuts, scrapes, that sort of thing, some sort of wrap. Definitely bring instructions, because if someone was to grab your bag and they don't know what they're doing, but you're the one that's down, they're going to want to know what they need to do with your supplies in your bag. And last but not least, a tourniquet. I probably have about 4 of these in my initial bug out bag. My bug out location, I got about a dozen. Definitely tourniquets. Stop the bleeding. Never put a tourniquet on an artery. Never put a tourniquet on a bone. It's inefficient. All right, next, mapping navigation tool. Definitely make maps. Keep maps everywhere. Bug out bag. Make a couple copies of your general location, high and low access roads, kind of where you're at. You definitely want to have some mappage. When the grid goes down, that cell phone you're holding in your hand watching this video is not going to help you. A compass. Make sure it's a good compass, not one of the $4.97 specials at Walmart. Make sure you have a good quality compass. So if you drop it, it gets rained on. If you're running and you get tangled up, it's not going to rip the needle out of it. That sort of thing. Buy a nice quality military compass. Usually get them for 30 or 40 bucks. They're essential to making sure you find your way to wherever you need to go. Next, we're going to dig into like tools, whatever you want to call it. Multi-use shovel. One of the foldy ones, put it right in your bag, it fits. An axe or a hatchet, I definitely recommend the Fiskars. It's an 11-ounce hatchet, super light. It's Made out of poly with a real durable blade. Definitely keep 2 of those around in case one breaks. Multi-tool. Gerber makes a great multi-tool. Hands down, best multi-tool I own is a Gerber. Paracord, falls under cordage, falls under tools, whatever. You can never have enough paracord. Strapping, bracing, you can use it as a tourniquet with a stick if you know what you're doing. Threading, you can rip the paracord sleeve apart, get one of the piece of cordage out of there and definitely thread up some clothing if it has a hole in it, your tarp, whatever. Duct tape. You can buy little mini portable duct tapes. They're about this big, about the size of a baseball. You can buy the big rolls. Obviously, you can fit a baseball through it, so a little bigger than a baseball, but definitely duct tape. Again, fixing your tent, your tarp, fixing your bag, your clothes. It's a very quick fix, so you can get there, get what you need to get done, and then get it threaded up. If you don't have a cutting tool, such as snips or some sort of shears, definitely keep one of those in your bag. You never know if you're going to run up against a fence of some sort, like an aluminum fence or metal chain link fence. You're definitely going to want to be able to get through that fence to get what you need and get out of there quickly, undetected. And then last but not least on the cutting or tools is a folding saw. While your hatchet and your knife are great, they will wear very quickly when you're chopping into wood. Buy a nice folding saw. Again, Walmart sells a cheap one, $10. That'll do. You know, if you're just starting out, that's perfect. It'll cut some branches and twigs and stuff like that to clean up some logs. But I invest in a good folding saw. Gerber, again, makes a great one. Bear Grylls little model. It's an awesome tool. Miscellaneous stuff. Solar bank. So I went on Amazon. You can find it at any hardware store. A little solar bank. About this big. Size of like a mini notebook. Has a solar charging on there. That solar bank is A+. It's 2,500 kilowatt, sorry. Quick charging. I can plug my phone in, get 3 full charges before I got to charge it again.